Welcome to my series Aatmanirbhar Bharat You. What is that secret ingredient that accelerates the journey of a developing nation to self-reliance? Hi, I'm Raina Singhwi Jain, author of the book The Golden Bird 2.0 Resurgence of India. Join me as I break this down for you in simple steps so you can not just be a spectator but an integral part of the growth story of your country. With so many activities happening around us to improve business practices, inculcate new approaches and exchange ideas, and to primarily fuel the growth trajectory of India, and there is little to nothing along the lines of process engineering. And this is a significant problem. We see endless debates on how there must be reforms in sectors like education, health, and the digital economy. The importance of ease of doing business cannot be stressed enough number of times, and how it must become better. However, we seldom see debates or conferences that push MSMEs towards adopting process engineering frameworks. By deliberately addressing this in a chapter of my book, The Golden Bird 2.0 Resurgence of India, I hope to emphasize that this is a domain that is crucial for all reforms across sectors. Indeed, it is as essential as a business plan and executing it. What is process engineering? Our vision of becoming the factory of the world should be about more than thousands of new assembly lines. What would really define the success of this endeavor is the brand Made in India, synonymous with products that are high caliber, well designed, durable, and offer good value for money. When it comes to manufacturing, true success lies in how efficiently a company can organize its production lines at the lowest costs possible, without compromising on the quality of finished goods. This is called process engineering. It stresses on the fact that quality has to be built in everything we do. What is cost of poor quality, COPQ, and why is it important? Here we touch upon what is one of the most important concepts necessary to comprehend the importance of process engineering: cost of poor quality. It denotes the cost that arises because of poor quality products or services, or as a result of a failure to adhere to the quality standards that are expected by any customer. It aims to intervene in areas such as overproduction, overprocessing, excessive inventory, repeated rejections, wasteful labor movement, waste of time before and during production, unnecessary movement of material, poor communication, poor planning, and poor design of products, to name a few. These are issues that every organization faces on a daily basis, yet few are able to recognize these as both the source of business losses and the poor quality of finished products. This also includes all the costs incurred as loss of future sales because of diminished brand value, loss of market share, loss of investment or financial opportunities, and so forth. Very interestingly, Harrington explains this where he notes how companies often assume that trying to manufacture high quality products would accrue very high costs. However, the truth is that it's the lack of quality that actually incurs a much greater cost. This is not well understood because most businesses, including a majority of upcoming organizations in India, don't have the awareness and the tools to calculate their cost of poor quality and assess how much this is really hurting them. Can cost of poor quality be calculated? As we understand, it is extremely difficult to measure quality, and it is even more difficult to grasp the concept of how lack of quality can be a long-term cost of production. Current auditing frameworks and accounting reports used also fail to highlight the cost of poor quality. Yet, this is precisely where we can see the importance of process engineering techniques and training. Our accounting systems were not devised to capture these costs because they perceive the situation in a fundamentally different way. It took many years of experimenting before process engineers could come to the realization that low quality production could be a major source of cost burdens, and it took even longer to come up with effective tools to measure these metrics. The system that was finally hit upon divided the cost of poor quality into two integral parts. Firstly, the cost that can be determined for poor quality that are incurred before the delivery to the customer, which are termed as internal failure costs. And secondly, poor quality costs incurred after the product is delivered to the customer, which are termed as external failure costs. Thus, today tools are available to precisely calculate the cost of poor quality of a process. How can you benefit from process engineering? The first thing, understand that it is not complicated. By putting some extra mind to this, you will realize that process engineering is not complicated. It is in fact the whole and soul mantra for a dream workspace and balance sheet. Believe and read about the several success stories that have thrived by just implementing these best practices. In fact, when it comes to attitude or perception related problems, one does not need to look far. Business owners are resistant to accepting organizational flaws and are seldom willing to recognize and fix persistent issues. It isn't common in India to spend money on a consultant or the time needed to implement these in-depth process transformations. During my interview with an acclaimed process engineer working in India, I learned that the biggest barrier to entry has genuinely been the mindset. Find your doctor. It is in many ways just like visiting the doctors. In case of organizations, a process engineer is the doctor who prescribes steps to follow in order to achieve larger goals of profitability and good quality production at lower costs. The diagnosis comes in the form of realizing and calculating the true cost of producing suboptimal and poor quality products. There are two ways of going about this. You can invest time and funds and master the art of process engineering yourself. You can at any age over 16 understand the nuances and become a process engineer if you have the dedication. However, most of us have extremely busy schedules and finding time for something like this seems unviable. Thus comes the option of finding a process engineer who can help you through the process. Be open to investment. This will cost you money. When we buy machinery or invest in human resources, we realize that these form the backbone of the organizations we run. Process engineering has to be looked onto in the same light. There is no way that this is not going to show results. The various tools like lean management systems and Six Sigma are all in place to ensure that you financially benefit and also build long-term loyal customers by giving the best quality and services. To further this conversation, drop in your thoughts and suggestions in the comments below. If you would like to participate and engage with the Aatmanirbhar Bharat You movement, do like, share and subscribe. Also, if you would like to know more, do grab a copy of my book, The Golden Bird 2.0 Resurgence of India on Amazon.in.